Welcome to the leading podcast for long-term weight management. Subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jenny on all social media channels. You can also sign up to the newsletter to receive frequent content and tips for weight loss success.
Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Power Over Food podcast. I hope you've had a great week and life is good. Just a reminder, if you are finding these podcasts valuable, please leave me a little review on iTunes or drop me a message on social media. And if this is the first time that you've listened to one of my podcasts, I strongly recommend that you go back to the start and you listen from number one. There is so much information in each episode that will help you with your relationship with food. Now, today I have another guest with me, which I'm very excited about. And as I mentioned, over the coming weeks, we're going to have more and more guests with a wealth of knowledge and experience to share with you. So this lady is, from what I can gather, an incredible lady. She's the founder of Thrive in Midlife, which she set up herself to help ladies rediscover who they are and thrive in midlife. And she's going to talk to us today about not only her journey, but time management, which I think is really, really important and key for leading a healthy life. So I would like to welcome to the show the amazing Cara Cunniff. Hello.
Hi, Jenny. Hi. Thank you for inviting me on.
No problem. Welcome to the show. And I hope I got that right, that introduction, because we did have a chat before the show, but there's one thing I didn't check. Is it just ladies that you coach, or is it ladies and men?
It's actually ladies and men.
Okay.
And essentially I move them from survival to thriving.
Fantastic.
And what I don't want them to do, if you think it as a sort of a line, you've got dive at one end, you've got survive in the middle, and you've got thrive at the other end. So really, it's about bringing them on the journey into thriving.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, I can certainly relate to that in terms of weight loss, from the dive
Absolutely.
to the thriving. Yeah.
Absolutely.
From chatting to you and from looking at your journey, you have been on quite a journey. And obviously this podcast is about managing our weight. So I just wondered if we could start off by talking about what your relationship with food is like through the years. From, I know you're quite athletic, and how different circumstances like the lockdown and injuries have changed that relationship with food and changed where you are with your weight.
Absolutely. I think the first thing I should say is that for the majority of my life, I have absolutely adored food. I love food. And I have lived in sort of various countries in the world where I have really had the blessing of being able to enjoy, Parisian cuisine and, the German bratwurst. I really have been very lucky in terms of exploring and enjoying lots of different cultures and the food that goes with it. However, I'm also an endurance athlete, and the more weight you carry, the harder it is to run, to bike, and to swim. And my main focus has been, over the last few years, has been Ironman, so long distance triathlon. Essentially, I realized through the journey of training is that I can't eat what I like, even though I might be doing 10 hours of training a week, sometimes more when I'm coming up to a race. So, up to sort of 14 hours training a week, I still can't eat everything that I want to eat, because firstly, it's not nutritious and it's not giving me the things that I need to do to be able to get out and train regularly. But secondly, it's just that the nature of the food that just isn't, setting me up to train the next morning. So it might be that the nature of the carb protein balance, or it might be the fat balance, whatever it is at the time that I'm needing to get up and train the next day. And I think what is really interesting when we look at, all the way that, the different opportunities to eat in different ways. And I say opportunities because food is a pleasure, and it should be seen as a pleasure. But as long as we do it in the right way, as long as we, and it's all in moderation. It is all in moderation. Actually, if I look back on my journey, when I was 13, I actually almost started to suffer with anorexia. And actually, it was a family member who actually had a word with my mum, because my mum was too close to it. She couldn't see it. And it was a family member who sort of had a quiet word with my mum and said, you know what, I think something's not quite right here. And to be honest with you, I don't really remember it, but I do know that I started to become very conscious about what I looked like. And the only correlation I could make was, if I put less food into my mouth, then that will have the outcome of losing weight and maybe fitting into the bikini that I wanted to fit into. So I knew there was a correlation even at that age. Throughout my whole life, I have generally been very sporty. I have, raced long distance, but I also do have a metabolism that has to work. I have a slower metabolism. So I have to work quite hard to burn off the same calories that my husband doesn't have to do. So he has a very high metabolism. He can eat what he likes. And I find that very difficult. I find it difficult when he can eat, really, he does eat what he likes. And he trains hard. He does, workouts regularly, but he can eat whatever he wants. Whereas I'm not fortunate like that. And I do have a physique that I can almost see the weight when I look at the food. And I think that was something that spurred me into longer distance sport, because the longer distance activity is what really changed my shape. It was riding the bike for 6-7 hours a week that really changed my shape. Now, this is kind of the first time I've ever put this out here, but actually when I was 18, I had liposuction. So I've kind of done it all. I've seen it all and I've done it all. I had liposuction. I had it twice because I had a very, very pear-shaped body. However, the outcome in the short term was fantastic. I got what I wanted, but within a couple of years, my shape started to return, even though I was exercising, even though, I was doing everything I could to keep that weight off. That was my natural body shape until I took up, for me, long distance triathlon. And that was the game changer. That was absolutely the game changer. And it was also the game changer in terms of my relationship with food, because I noticed that when I trained, when I ate well, I could start to see the difference. And my mindset changed and I wanted it more. I wanted the shape change. I wanted the difference in my body. And therefore my desire to continue to train and to eat well just went on. And it was like this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. I was making it happen. And I know also, we spoke about, and I'll bring this in now because we spoke about working with a coach. And, I know you and I spoke about this earlier about working with a coach. And for me, during this period where I was moving into an unknown, and I know for a lot of us, living in the COVID times, there's lots of unknowns now. There are lots of difficulties. But moving into these unknown times for me, which was moving into long distance triathlon, I needed support to do that because I really had no idea what I was doing. I had never really ridden a bike before. My husband had signed me up for an Ironman 9 months later. I didn't own a bike. And so I had to learn to ride a bike. I had to learn to vaguely swim. I could run already. But the biggest turning point was getting a coach, because I was being held accountable, and I was also in the very early days being given their knowledge and experience because they've done this before.
Yeah.
Before, I suppose, my confidence built, before, I suppose, my belief in myself built. Mm-hmm. And they gave me that support along the journey.
Yeah, I as you say, we spoke about that earlier before we started recording. And I think in my experience, a lot of my clients, they've developed this belief, which I'm sure I had at one point as well, which is I should be able to do it on my own. And it's amazing how we would ask for help in lots of other areas in our lives. But when it comes to our weight or exercise, fitness, knowing what to eat, it's almost like we should be able to do it. And I think when we can realise that it's actually okay and very beneficial to have a coach or have some sort of support and some sort of accountability and be able to draw from their knowledge, then it makes such a difference. It really does make such a difference to your journey. So yeah,
it's also about sharing the journey as well.
Yeah,
we a lot of life, we're with family members, but they're not actually doing the same things that we're doing. So there is something very pleasurable about sharing this journey with somebody who is there as your cheerleader.
Yeah.
The biggest cheerleader you can have is the person who wants you to achieve that goal, whether that's weight loss or sport, a particular goal that you're aiming for in sport. For me, it's actually about encouraging adventure back into my clients' lives. We are the biggest cheerleaders that our clients can have.
And I think some people choose their cheerleaders as their family or friends, thinking they support me. But I know, again, from my clients and personal experience, I'd choose my best friend to go to lose weight with. But we were so bad for each other, because if one of us was having a bad day, we'd just go, oh, come on, let's have a cake. So
absolutely,
as much as you cheer each other on, you're also the first to go, oh, it's okay, there. We'll have something that tastes good, but is actually not going to help us in any way. But we don't look that far ahead. So whereas your coach would be kind of, let's have a look at that. What benefit is it going to have? Why would you want to eat that? Is it moving you towards your goal? And a family member or friend is not always the answer.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. And I would mostly avoid asking family or friends to be that champion, because it's just so easy to get out of things. You're not really being held accountable.
No.
And last week I actually took on a new triathlon coach, and he sent me my detail, the proposal, and at the end of it he said, and quite frankly, if at the end of 10 weeks you haven't done what I've told you to do, I'm not going to work with you anymore. And I was like, okay,
wow.
Okay, I guess I better do it then. And that, I know, is what I need. I need
Yes.
that sort of kick up the backside in terms of recovering from injury, to get back out and to find the love of the sport that I once had.
Yeah, definitely. Can I ask, well, I suppose as you've got a coach, probably could answer this question quite easily, but do you ever lack motivation?
I actually don't believe in motivation.
Okay.
I think if we rely on motivation, then it's like we're not really aligned with our values. If we are aligned with our values, and when I say values, it's the things that matter most in our life. If what we're doing and is aligned with the things that matter most in our life, then we shouldn't actually need, and I've used that word shouldn't, and I know it's the wrong word to use, we ought not to require motivation, because motivation is needed when things are difficult. I know sometimes maybe to stop yourself eating something, or to force yourself to get out for that run, maybe requires a little bit of extra energy or impetus. But if we're relying on motivation, then I think we really need to question why we're doing it, and if it's something that we really, really want to do. And if we don't want to do it, then it's about understanding what is stopping us from wanting to do it. And I think actually the moment where you question yourself on, lacking motivation or requiring motivation, it's very much about, the next question is, well, what is stopping me from wanting to do this?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. At the moment, I've been getting up super early because I'm homeschooling in the day. And my other half said to me last night, I can't believe you're still getting up so early. You're out of bed at 5 o'clock, if not before. You're not finding it hard? And I said, no, because I'm absolutely loving what I'm working on. And I wake up early thinking, is it time to get up yet? And yeah, I would have always been the person that needs to be dragged out of bed. But I can't wait to get up in the morning because I'm excited and about what I'm doing. So you're right. I don't need to be motivated to get out of bed because my values are aligned and I believe in what I'm working on. So no, that's a really, really good answer. Thank you.
And I think also there's one other thing. I think when you're actually, and I use the example of training for something because but it might actually be choosing not to eat something. Choosing, and I use the word choice because in everything we do, we have a choice, whether we like to believe that or not. And often that's where the issue is. But we have a choice whether we eat something or we don't eat something. We have a choice to go for a run or not go for a run. And it's all about a journey and often not the destination. So for me, the destination was becoming an Ironman. That was my destination. And, I dreamt about it, I visualized it, and I could even bring myself to tears sometimes when I was training and visualizing it, carrying the Union Jack, and even catches me now, carrying the Union Jack across the line above my arms and just thinking, 14, 15 hours later, I've done it. But my point is actually that's just the end result. All those days that you choose not to eat something, all those days you choose to get out in the rain, in the cold, those are the days that make you stronger. Those are the days that are the most important days to your complete result. Not the days when it's easy, not the days when it's going out and it's sunny and you think this is going to be a beautiful day and I'm going to have a lovely run. It's great, I have a lovely run. But actually, that's not where you earn it. You earn it when it's hard.
Yeah. And I do agree on the word choice. I had exactly the same conversation with one of my clients yesterday. And we'd spoke about it the week before. She came back yesterday and she said, that word choice that you mentioned last week, she said, that's just kind of been a light bulb moment for me, because every time I've wanted to have higher calorie food, I've told myself, well, yeah, you can if you want to. So she's shifted her mindset from that I'm not allowed to have it to I have a choice. If I want it, I can have it. That's absolutely fine. Do I really want it? And by giving herself that choice and being more relaxed about that, she's able to think, actually, that's not really what my body needs right now. And I'm not going to feel as good having that over something else. So choice is so powerful, the word, having that choice. Yeah, definitely.
Choice is also where you take back control.
Yes.
Because you can choose to do something or choose to do nothing.
Yeah.
But you still have a choice. And that is where you really do own that control.
Definitely. Fantastic. We also said we would speak about time management. Any tips? What do you tell people about time management?
So I think the first thing to say is actually, I don't think you can manage time. The only thing you can do is manage yourself. Yes. Time is time. There is only a certain amount, and we have a gift for every single minute that we have on this earth. And if we actually do the calculations, for the number of minutes that we have in every year, and I use this actually as an example with my kids when they've been, I think on TikTok or on, doing something social on their phones. And at the end of the day, I can check in and find out how long they've been on their phones. And, it works out over the course of a week of maybe, 15 hours or something, and I then put that into perspective for them that actually that is almost 2 working days. Wow. That they've been on TikTok. So when you start to think about how you're spending your time and the fact that it's a gift, and again, it comes back to, firstly, choice. Where do I choose to spend my time? Do I choose to spend my time with the high value activities that are aligned with, my purpose, the important things to me in my life? Or do I choose to spend my time with the, low value tasks that actually either I can do more efficiently, so I could find some way to automate it or systemize it or put it into a process so that it's done routinely if I need to do it myself, or if I can delegate it, then that's a great way to not do something that's low value on your list. And actually, again, I save my children because, of course, we're in COVID times at the moment. So many of us have got, children home, 100% of the time. And now, actually, I love cooking, but I delegate, and they love it. They don't see it as delegation, I will add. I delegate a lot of the cooking to them. And I have now got the most, my 11-year-old, will cook spaghetti bolognese from start to end. I won't even come in the room now. My eldest will, they just love cooking. And so there's been a real win-win in that. What's making more use of my time, because I can then do other stuff that, maybe needs to be done, other stuff in the house that, because we're all in the house and as there's lots of jobs that need to be done. And it also allows them to grow. It allows them to, become a I suppose not a greater person, but a more rounded person. So yes. So the other thing is to do tasks routinely. So if it might be like making the bed, you get out of bed and just make the bed. Do it routinely, because then that allows you more time and energy and headspace to focus on the things that you need to give time, energy, and headspace to. So, those little jobs that just niggle away, just get them done. So I also have a 2-minute rule. So if a job takes less than 2 minutes, just get it done. Just do it. If it means putting something away and you think, oh, I can't be bothered to walk up the stairs now, walk up the stairs, put it away. It's one job less to do.
Yeah.
And actually gives you a clearer headspace, and it will allow you then to focus on what you need to focus on, what you're choosing to focus on.
Yeah, brilliant. Don't know if you use this with your clients, but I've started scheduling my day in 30-minute slots. And, if I've got a big to-do list, rather than procrastinating over it and keep looking at it and choosing which I want to do, I'm like, right, let's get that out of the way first. That's going to take me 30 minutes. Then I'll move on to that task. And I just can't believe how different the last few weeks have been since I've started doing that, because I've got a clear plan and I'm managing myself rather than my time more efficiently, because I'm not allowing myself to scroll through social and call a friend, and I'll turn my phone upside down so I can't see messages coming through, so I'm not distracted. And it's just little things like that, and that is about self-management, isn't it? It's about saying,
absolutely,
I don't need to be on social. If I've got some posts to schedule, I'll do it in that 30 minutes, and make sure that you're focused enough to do your posts and come back off or answer any messages. But it's being that kind of disciplined with yourself, if you like, I think, to follow your plan, to set a plan and then follow it through.
It's also because there are lots of apps out there, because it's a technique I use, and it's based on the Pomodoro technique. It's the tomato timer technique. So actually you can download apps. So I use an app called Be Focused Pro, and it allows 25-minute slots, and that is a means of keeping you accountable. You may not believe it, but we've spoken about accountability, and that is a means of keeping you accountable, because the moment you set that timer, you've cleared the desk, you've removed the distractions, and you have one thing to do. And that's the other sort of critical thing in this is it's one thing at one time. I know that we've become very used to saying that we can multitask. That it's okay to multitask, and I think there are times, absolutely, multitasking, with morning breakfast with children, and you are trying to do 100 jobs at once and still get out the door when we were in those periods of time, but it's not actually effective. No. And you are far better to do one thing at one time.
Yeah.
And that allows you to focus. And focus is one of the first parts of my sort of methodology for thriving. It's about focus on the things that are important to you, focus on the jobs that are going to move you forward, the jobs actually that are often difficult. And there's a sort of method, eating the frog. There's a book, Eating the Frog, and it's about tackling the biggest, hardest task the first thing in the morning, because you then have that complete sense of accomplishment the rest of the day. And so whatever happens, you've made your bed, and you've sort of tackled that big job that you've been putting off.
And I guess for my listeners, that might be either food prep.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
That's my Siri. My Siri was commenting. Oh no, go away, Siri.
Yes, I suppose for our listeners, that is could be food prep or could be exercise, but quite often I think we can leave it till the end of the day, and then niggling it in your mind while you're trying to work is, oh, I've got to go out for that run tonight, or I've got to go to the gym, and you're dreading it all day if it's not something you're a fan of doing. So I guess one thing is getting aligned with what you do enjoy doing, so that you're motivated to do it, as we've already spoken, or you want to do it, not even you're motivated, but you can't wait to do it. But also, like you say, if it's something that you're not so keen on, then do it first thing, and it's done for the day, and you've achieved it. And like you say, you feel so accomplished. And I know I've been doing Joe Wicks workouts every morning, and so I've been getting a little bit of work done, and then at 7:30 my alarm goes off to tell me I need to do my Joe Wicks, and it's only half an hour of exercise, but then I am set up for the day and I feel great. I've got some work done, I've done some exercise, and it's all before a lot of people are even out of bed. So
that alone is amazing.
Yes,
absolutely amazing. And Joe Wicks's workouts, I have to say, I do love them, and they get the body going, they get the heart rate up, and that, I think, when we are all inside our houses all the time, you know, we need to have little different routines. As you say, you set up, you know, you set your alarm for 7:30, and that's your, okay, now this is the change into something else. So I am marking the day with different schedules and different tasks to do, different fun things, lunch, you know, all those things are really, really important for mental health.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for people working at home at the moment, it's very easy, isn't it, just to not get dressed properly and to be all day kind of not even realizing where the time's gone, not having lunch till 3:00 because you just sat at your computer. Yeah, I like what you said, mark the day with, yeah, absolutely. I like that term, mark the day.
There's just one other thing actually, which is, I think people often don't align it with time management, but it's about saying no.
Yes.
You know, it's so easy to say yes to so many things. Even in this time, how many Zooms do we accept? And then sometimes beforehand think, gosh, I'm not sure really that was the right thing to do. Or, you know, I could have fitted that into a slightly better schedule. Think about what you're saying yes to, because actually it's very easy to say yes to things a week away. Very easy, because we're not planning our time for a week away. And then suddenly we find that we've overfilled our calendar. And that then brings feelings of overwhelm, stress and frustration. So really think about when you're saying yes, and just know that it's okay to say no.
Yeah, definitely. Put yourself first. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you. That's absolutely fantastic. Just a huge thank you. I know what we've talked about and what you've shared with us will be of such value to our listeners. I know it has been for me. So thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed being on the show.
Oh, it's been fabulous. We could be here all day.
We could. I was conscious there's so many other things I know we can talk about, but I'm also conscious that for the listeners, we probably need to round up. So I will say thank you again. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon. I'm sure our paths will continue to cross. And if you are listening and thinking about your management of yourself, not management of your time, then my challenge for you before the next podcast is released is to reevaluate how you are spending your time, where you might be wasting time, and maybe try and schedule your day and see if it does work for you, see how much more productive you can be. And don't forget to feed back to me. I love hearing from you on social. It's great to hear the messages coming in of how you have changed things, whether that's your relationship with food or just things in life in general, because you are listening to these podcasts. It just gives me a warm fuzzy feeling to know that I am helping people and that my guests are helping with their insights too. Have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to connect with me. Don't forget you can join my Power Over Food Mastermind group on Facebook. And finally, there are thousands of people out there struggling with their weight and struggling with their relationship with food. And I would love it to help as many people as possible. So please, if you haven't done so already, please share this podcast with a friend, and don't forget to leave me a few words, a couple of lines of a review. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode.